Well, certainly, as you guys noted, this is the Folly Beach live cam and at the Tides Hotel. Boy, the breakers are really pretty far out and they are high. So again, the waves are starting to build up, and this is, of course, well in advance of the actual appearance of the center of Hurricane Matthew. I know we've got a news conference coming up, and we will get you the information as quickly as we can downtown. But as far as what's going on weather-wise, we've been watching this really all day long in terms of the actual movement of the storm as it's been hugging the coast of Florida. As you can certainly see, it's a broad storm, so it's going to be really tough to avoid some of the major impacts from Hurricane Matthew. And unfortunately for us, it looks like we're going to get it from top to bottom as it moves generally to the north and northwest and then eventually northeast. You can see we're starting here already. We're at the northern extent, and we've got all of this yet to come through. And that's why really the mood has changed quite a bit today, because we were hoping for a bend once it got off the Georgia coast and then off of our coast. And now that is in question, just how quickly that bend will take place. And we've talked about this for several days, that we hope that bend would happen sooner than later. Looks like it's going to be later the way it looks right now. But just off the coast of Daytona Beach, and if you mark it from Charleston, the center of the storm, the eye is about 200 miles down to our south, as you can certainly see. The winds are 115 miles an hour, still a Category 3 hurricane as it moves north-northwest at 12 miles an hour. And the pressure is low, 947 millibars. And there is the center of the storm. This is the eye wall, and these are where the strongest winds are at this particular time. And these winds are staying just offshore. But having said that, even Cape Canaveral this morning had a wind gust of 107 miles an hour. So the storm will continue its trek to the north. Already the northern extent, you can clearly see the rain shield, the rain bands on the northern side are moving on in. So what we can expect for the afternoon is continued rain. And when you get these areas that are the yellow and the orange, that could be some squally weather where the winds will really pick up, and we'll see some good gusts into the afternoon. We expect the onset of the tropical storm force winds to happen after 4 o'clock, between 4 and 7 later today and into the evening. But this is just the beginning. So if you've been out here today wondering, is this Matthew? This is, again, the northern extent of Hurricane Matthew. There's also a stationary front right between the two. There's high pressure to the north and the actual hurricane to the south. A lot of people ask me what could potentially turn this out to sea. Unfortunately, with that high sitting there, it's almost pinching it into the coast. So until this weakens a little bit, it's going to continue to really hug the coast, and that's where the problems come in the forecast. When it hugs the coast, any deviation a little bit on either side, east or west, is really going to dictate what kind of conditions you see. Again, we'll keep an eye on that rain shield as it moves on in. Now, the computer models, as we take you through time, again, showing the spaghetti models really all clustered, and unfortunately, some of them have shifted even farther back to the west. We don't want to see that, because there is the potential, and we don't want to skirt around this, because it is a potential that we could actually see a landfall of this storm, of this hurricane, along the South Carolina coast, the western side of the eye wall. And if that happens, then the winds will be even stronger than what we're expecting. So here is the official track from the National Hurricane Center. This is as of 11 o'clock this morning. We'll get a brand new update at 5 o'clock, but we're also getting periodic updates from the position of the storm. And it's this bend that we've got to keep an eye on, especially right about 8 o'clock in the morning, actually a little bit before. You see this bend coming really close to the South Carolina coastline, which again could contain a potential landfall. Here's our future radar. We've put this in motion for you. You can see the wind flow, and that's going to be very critical. Here it is, the storm, the center of the storm by 9 o'clock tonight, but we're already seeing a lot of the rain. The winds will start to pick up by the time we get to early in the morning. We think, and we've talked about this, the timing for us, the worst impacts will be overnight early on Saturday morning, which in a sense brings in another issue, and that is, I know it's dark and folks maybe not securing something now and then running out to retrieve it later. We don't want you to do that. So if you've got something you need to kind of retrieve now, or at least bring it inside, or make sure it's locked on down, do it right now before the winds really start to pick up and before the sun goes down as well. So here's the 2 o'clock picture. What you notice is, see how the winds are coming in from the southeast and the east? That's that onshore wind flow, and we've got another high tide coming in just before 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to have the tide high, we're going to have the heavy rain, and we're going to have the very strong onshore wind blowing at the same time. That's why we're looking at the potential for some high water levels, the inundation that we've been mentioning as well. Here's Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, still dealing with some of the rain, but the center of the storm should be up to our north and east as we get into late morning, early afternoon. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. If you kind of time that back, we could substantially see maybe 24 hours or more of at least some sustained tropical storm force winds for a period of time. This is not going to be a thunderstorm. It's going to come on through, gusty winds, and move on. This is going to be a constant pounding, one after the other, of Hurricane Matthew. And then here's 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and then finally we'll start to kind of take a breath and see what is going on. 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., this is our precipitation forecast. If you're wondering about rainfall, 8 to 14 inches, certainly a real possibility. But I'm kind of taking a chunk out of the next few hours or so and broken it down into 6-hour increments. 2.3 inches from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. 4 inches, that is, 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. We'll get back to this in a second, guys. I know we've got the news conference starting. We'll send it back over to Brendan and Carolyn.
Yeah, okay, Rob. Yeah, Mayor.